from Sherry, who's listening. She said, Kevin, thank you for speaking the truth about the Pope's comments as one of your Catholic listeners. I love AFA and all the excellent lineup of programs. The media is desperate to marginalize the church, all Christian denominations, so that there will be no voice of moral clarity left in society. Sherry, I'm grateful that you're listening, and I'm grateful that we can have this conversation. And I'm grateful that we have someone that is willing to speak up and say that the family should be the family. It's very important for you to understand that this current Pope helped author a book or a message. I'm not sure the exact title of what it was. It may have been a paper of some sort with the previous Pope. And let me just, Daniel Doherty over at townhall.com put this up, but he said, those who interpret these comments as a sign that Pope Francis will one day support same-sex marriage are sorely mistaken. In his book On Heaven and Earth, co-written with Rabbi Abram Skorka, then Cardinal George Bergoglio explicitly defines marriage as the union between a man and a woman. Every child, he argues, deserves a mother and a father. Still, Catholics believe that because we are all sinners and fallen creatures, reconciliation is an important first step towards divine mercy and recognizing Christ's love. Thus, Pope Francis's comments reflect Christ's promise of forgiveness to those whom earnestly seek it, one of the core tenets of the Christian faith, and we should not be interpreted as a ringing endorsement of a lifestyle the Church finds deeply at odds with natural law. So every one of the media people that were out there saying, "Oh, look, this now, Catholic leader, he's lowering the bar on Christianity and homosexuality." He's not coming anywhere near doing that, and his comments yesterday were grotesquely misrepresented. My friend Maggie Gallagher, who formerly had headed up the National Organization for Marriage, said, of course the press today is all abuzz with the idea that Catholic teaching on sex and marriage just changed radically. Curious how they feel free to put words in the Pope's mouth for whatever purposes. The Human Rights Campaign, whole gay establishment applauding mightily, hoping to re-educate Catholics. And she's right. Very pro-militant advocates in the sexual movement have been out trying to claim that the Pope some way compromised what the Church teaches, what Christianity teaches, what the Bible teaches, what he believes. And he did none of that. 888-589-8840. Let's go back to the phones and discuss this same topic with Mac, calling from Alabama. Hi, Mac. Welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good.
Well, I myself am a very devout, practicing Catholic, and I do have to agree with everything you were saying as well as what the Pope said. I had called in when that other person was speaking before. I'm not sure exactly who that was. I think his name was Rod, I think.
Right. Rod was calling from Kentucky. That is correct.
Oh, okay. I just didn't catch his name originally. In terms of what he was saying, there are a lot of things that he's completely wrong about in terms of Catholicism itself and the outlook, the view that he had on it from a biblical perspective in terms of the Bible, the Catholics use in the Bible that Protestants and Baptists use.
Well, you can't get away from the fact that there are more books in the Catholic Bible.
Right, and the other 7 books, as well as some other things that are in the Bible that the Catholics use, it's because they were canonized after. Originally, the Catholics didn't.
Right. Mac, this is a little bit in the weeds for what we're discussing today, but did you have anything relevant to what the topic actually was? Because I don't want to make the rest of this hour a defense of Catholicism or defense of evangelicalism, or I don't even want to see the two camps at odds. I want to admit there are differences that those differences can be looked at respectfully, and then I need to move on because I think most of our listeners are not interested in getting deep in the weeds on this today, on this broadcast. Exploring the Word later in the afternoon, normally something that they would carry but this is more of a look at what's going on in the news. So your
Right.
thoughts on what the Pope did and your feelings about it.
And what the Pope did, I think, was a very good thing, and I think the main media is wrong for the way that they approached it, and I just think that's the main societal point of view now, and a lot of people are just sticking.
Mac, why do you think the media so hungrily wants the Pope's view to be different? What do you take away from their twisting of his words?
Wait, what do you mean? What do I take away from their twisting?
Like what do you ascribe to their motives for doing that?
I think that they are doing that to try and justify other things that they're trying to justify right now, such as gay marriage and other things as well.
Yeah. No, I think that's keen insight, because it doesn't make sense that the media should ignore facts, except that they have a reason to ignore facts. And if they're the ones that are charged with telling the truth, and by the way, that's something that we take very seriously here at AFA Today. If we're charged with telling you the truth on a daily basis, then that's what we're going to do. But what you see is the media's desire to so quickly advance a narrative. And part of that reason is this: narrative is very powerful. To tell a story, to tell a narrative of something moving historically, that possibly this Pope could be bringing down all historical Christian teaching that preceded him, that would be newsworthy. To do it for causes that they are interested in, because they are primarily non-religious people that participate in the media culture, is even, a little bit telling about their motives. It's really why, friends, you've got to be able to think for yourself. It's one of the reasons why we talk about on this broadcast and the Kevin McCullough Show in the evenings, we talk about the need to obliterate the confusion. Yesterday, the Pope made this statement. The media immediately went out and started spinning confusion. I mean, they put as much of it out there as they possibly could. Look, this is what this means. This is what this means. It wasn't even close to what he meant. They took him out of context. They gave no historical precedence for the comments he was saying. And it required a religion reporter for Fox News, Father Jonathan Morris, to come in and to explain basically to the rest of the media in the room, look, dummies, you got it all wrong. This is what it actually means. Father Jonathan would never use the word dummies, by the way. He's such a kind man. He's one of these just really genuinely kind guys. I've never even seen him raise his voice in any way. We've done a lot of stuff at Fox together. Anyway, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Let me go back to the phones. Eric is holding on from Arkansas and up next. Eric, welcome. You are on AFA Today with Kevin McCullough on AFR Talk. Hi.
Hi. Thank you. I'm actually from Louisiana, and I'm driving through Alabama listening to your station, and I appreciate you coming on and, setting everyone straight. But I agree with you that most of the media are not a religion or believe in any type of religion. So they're going to come on, and they're not going to tell the truth. They're going to spin it off and to get an uproar out of, because the gay community, that is a big deal with religious community, So I believe they're just going to spin it off to what they feel to get an uproar and to sell news.
Well, thank you for the call, Eric. I think what the activists really want out of this is that they are looking for something that they have never gotten. Okay, let me tell you a little secret here. The homosexual activist community is still seeking something that they have never found and that they absolutely are cravenly desirous of in ways that make us, you talk about cravings for other things, pale in comparison. The gay community wants a word called sanctity. I almost wrote a book about this. They want someone to say, you don't feel guilty about the actions that you engage in. Feel okay about them. And you can feel okay about them because all of these people say it's okay. The problem is they are searching for it. They can't find it at the ballot box because you don't have the overwhelming voters of the United States going to the polls in massive numbers going, you've got to say that homosexual activity is perfectly fine. So they've backed up the barriers of what is acceptable piece by piece. Now it's all about, well, are you going to treat us fair for same-sex marriage, which isn't fair. The concept of same-sex marriage isn't even remotely fair. It's not anything the same. The sexual unions of a man and a woman versus a man and a man, or a man and a woman versus a woman and a woman, not even close to being equitable in terms of health benefit, in terms of impact on the culture and society, in terms of a number of areas that you look at. You can't even quantify them in the same arena. Why? Because they're not the same thing. They're being substituted for one another by law. The same-sex marriage laws are saying, well, this union is the same as that union, and it's obviously not. But you can't say that anymore. And the craven desire to have the activities, to have the behavior justified, they have gone to extraordinary lengths to try to get different groups to say it's okay, so that you can't get the voters. They went to mainline denominations, and there are now 2, I think, that have it as part of their mainline practice to perform wedding ceremonies of homosexual couples, the North American Episcopal Church, and only some of those in North America. And then I think there's one other mainline denomination that has embraced it, maybe the United Methodists, I'm not sure. But what you have here is an inability to get religious people to give sanctity to their unions. So what do? They start doing PSA announcements and school educational programs and other things. Why? Because they're trying. There's a desire by the activists, not the average homosexual. These are the activists that are focused on this. They want people to literally have nothing enter their filter that will ever tell them that behavior is either unhealthy or immoral. And they want you to be pegged as a hateful person if you say that it's unhealthy or immoral. Any combination of the two or both. They don't want. Why? Because they want sanctity. They want sanction. They want to be told that this is okay. And they don't want 1 ounce of a voice to say there might be something better. And friends, this is where it really cuts to the quick for me. My bride's family and my family both have people that engage in homosexual behavior in our extended families. And in doing so, we've had hard heart-to-heart conversations about the fact that I love you as a person, but I don't think that this behavior is healthy or good for you, and it certainly doesn't jive with biblical tenets. So what I have to do as the head of my household is make a decision. Will my children interact with you and your partner in that way? And we made the decision not to. This person claims a born-again Christian faith. They claim the New Testament is authoritative. The New Testament's clear. If someone's in active sin, open rebellion and sin, choices of actions that they've taken, then you can't always have reconciliation occur. If someone is actively committing adultery, there's not going to be active reconciliation with the spouse. You give up the adultery to go back and reconcile with the spouse, but you can't be both reconciling with the spouse and committing adultery simultaneously. It's the same thing. Because homosexuality is neither a sin that is worse than pornography or adultery or any other of the sexual sins that are out there, it is also no less than them. So an even hand in terms of how you relate to someone that is dealing with this, it shouldn't be any different than someone who's actively involved with pornography or adultery or lust or other things. Should be exactly the same in terms of your personal relationship with them. So if you strongly advise people don't get involved in pornography, then it's okay to strongly advise people don't get involved in homosexual activities. They will bring you down. And that brings us to the last issue, and that is this. People say, I will be found incomplete if I don't act out on the urges that I have. Friends, if that's true, then I should be judged as incomplete because I like every pretty woman I've ever seen. And sexually, I could probably have a certain degree of success with many of them. But because Jesus is more to me than my urges are, he calls me to restrain those urges. And in fact, he says, here, I'll give you a blessing where those urges can be acted upon beautifully in a marriage that is sanctioned by him. Friends, the answer to any type of sexual craving is not sanctity from society, but life spent loving and knowing God. And if you can do that, my friend, you got hope. I'm Kevin McCullough. See you tomorrow on AFA Today and tonight on The Kevin McCullough Show here on AFR Talk.